Hi, my name's Amy. Welcome to Home Sweet Gardens. I do videos once a week, garden tours, and then videos on other things that either I find interesting or something that I've learned that I might want to share, or just things I'm excited about. I'm in Northwest Missouri, growing zone 6A. It is May 4th, 2021. I've done a couple of videos for this year already as far as like seeds growing and whatnot, but this is the first full garden tour that I've done. It's been a crazy spring. We've gotten quite a bit of rain lately and we've got more coming. It started to warm up and then we had about 3 days or so of really cold temps. In fact, my pear trees, they had blooms on them, so I don't know if I'm going to get any pears this year or not because of it. I had already had my cold weather stuff planted, so I had to cover them. And if you're ever looking for something to cover stuff with besides your sheets or that kind of thing when they're real little, my husband is a mechanic. He works at an auto shop. So he had a bunch of gallon jugs for like the window washer fluid, you know, and they were saving them. Somebody wanted them for like jug lines for fishing or something. Anyway, I got them and we cut the bottom off of them, left the lid on. So you can just take that and you put it over your plant into the dirt and then leave them when it's cold. And then if it gets warmer or you're worried about that, you can take that top off so that the heat can escape out. Works really well. So I think I got like 25 of them. I just took a twine and tied them in a chain or whatever and got them in the barn so I can grab them if I ever need them. But if you're ever looking for something to cover it, you know, not just your you know, sometimes your plants are going to be bigger than using something like this. They work pretty good. Now, if they get to big enough to where they're going to touch the sides, it might not work, but they do work in a pinch. So I used that, and then, of course, had sheets over some of the other stuff that I needed to cover. And I didn't lose anything, thankfully. Hopefully, we don't get any really cold spells coming out with my tomatoes and stuff my peppers and stuff that I've got out. I have above ground beds mostly, and I've not really had to worry about soil temp on those. This is my first year growing in ground, so we'll see. So wish me luck. On those tomatoes that I planted, I did a lot of reading because, like I said, I've never planted tomatoes before, never grown them. So I cut off up to the top leaves, you know, and planted them very deep because they say that you should plant them very deep. And I took eggshells and crushed them real fine and put them in the bottom of the hole before I put the tomato in there, and then I filled it with good fertile soil around it. So hopefully that will get them to grow. I'll put fertilizer or Miracle-Gro and stuff on them as they're growing. So I've got to get some twine and some garden staples or something to put them down the ground, the string to get to the cattle panel, so that they have a way, because there's a ways before they'll get to that point where I can tie them off. I've got to go out and take all the first little blossoms off of them now. So again, if you like the video, give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. If there's anything that you'd ever want me to do a video on, or if you have questions, or if there's something that I've done or am doing that you think I could do better or have suggestions, please, please, please leave me comments. I learn every single day, and I watch YouTube and stuff on different videos. There's one I really like, Roots and Refuge on YouTube, that she does a really good job. It's where I kind of copied her from all my trellising and stuff. It's pretty windy, so I'm hoping that this isn't going to interfere the video too much, but these are my Harvest Moon. They are like a white pumpkin. Most of my seeds come from Baker Creek Seeds here in Mansfield, Missouri, or burpee.com. Then this right here is my Cucuzi, and I have 3 of those. So this grass here doesn't typically grow real heavy in the summer, so they can just kind of meander their way out and take over, and that's okay. Let's see. My grapes are coming in pretty nicely. I've trimmed them back really well. My raspberry bush. Normally it would have other shoots, but I haven't seen any new ones come up, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. My shade garden I've got coral bells. I have another one that I need to plant, a different variation of color, more of like a rusty pink color. And then my bleeding heart. This is its 2nd year. Very excited. Here, my astables, just pretty colored flowers. My chives, which are getting ready to bloom. I've already given them one haircut for the summer. I'll wait until they finish blooming and then I'll do it again. I typically dry them, or I will cut them and freeze them. And if you didn't know, the flowers are actually edible. So, and they're pretty neat. Strawberries blooming out. These are June bears. This asparagus batch has never really done very well. It always comes up with like 1 or 2 and that's it. But I have a new asparagus patch. Well, not new. It's about the 3rd year, I think, here. This is the purple. I think they're called Jersey Queen, maybe. I'm not sure. And then the green ones over there. After you have stuff planted for a while, you kind of lose track of the names, lose the tags, and can't remember the variations. This is Midnight Moon Eggplant. Wait. Oh, I got a tag. Midnight Moon Eggplant. They basically look the same as traditional eggplants, just a different variety. My Clematis, doing very well. This is these 2, I think, is the 3rd year, and then, or that one over there, and then these are newer. That one's yellow, so I don't know if it's gonna die. Still got some blooms on it, so I'm not really sure what happened to it. There's nothing here yet. These are onions and garlic, elephant ear garlic, and then I can't remember the name of the onions. That's terrible. But I planted them last fall, and so they went through the winter, and now they're coming back. So they're looking pretty good size. Hopefully I'll get some decent sized onions this year. And this is my 1st year growing garlic. My 2nd strawberry patch, again taking over the world. Let's see. Okay, so then if we go over here, oh, it's a kitty. I transplanted, I had these in the ground. This is my Greek oregano. I transplanted it in this big pot, so it's coming in nicely. And then my thyme here that I transplanted into this, or I'm sorry, rosemary. Here I have green beans planted. These are Desperado bush bean. They're just starting to come up. I joke because I wanted to build beds, but lumber is so expensive right now. So I used this as bricks from my husband's great grandmother's house that burned a while back, and they kept them. So I used them, layered them too, and put soil down, weed berry in the soil, because I, can't get lumber right now. So at some point I'll end up building beds. I'll build them a little differently than this. This is just temporary. This is Loofah Gourd. This is my 1st year growing loofah. Thought I'd give it a try. I've got 2 there and then 1 over here. And then we built this trellis for it to go over. And then when it gets really hot, I'll plant lettuce and some other plants that don't necessarily like a lot of the strong heat under there. And I may throw some flowers in there too. Peas, I have 2 different kinds. On the far, I have Oregon sugar pods, are these right here. And then on this side, I have garden sweet peas. So the garden sweet, I do believe, are the pod where you get the peas out, and then the other ones are like your sugar snap where you can eat the pods. Okay, here I have my Armenian long cucumbers. I got 2 there and 2 on the other side, going to go up this trellis here. And then I have amazing cauliflower. I have 6 of those. And then my dog's barking at squirrels. And then I have 3, one of them died, but 3 of the broccoli plants. And I've got a head of broccoli starting. Yay! My cauliflower hasn't quite started anything yet. It's just starting to get to the point to where it's trying to do it. I've never been able to grow any cauliflower, and I've had very little success with broccoli. I planted them early this year, about a month they've been in, because I wanted to see if I couldn't get a head start. I was gambling with the weather, of course. I had to cover them a couple of times, but it seems to have been paid off so far, and hopefully I'll get some cauliflower and broccoli before the weather gets too hot. Beets starting to come up. This trellis here has suyo long cucumbers that will grow. There's one on the right side and two on the left side. And then here I have yod pho, which is a Chinese broccoli basically. I've already cut some. See, I cut that stalk, and it'll continue to grow shoots. And then I have 3 Portuguese kale that I've had some off of. Radishes, I'm growing them for my friend. She likes radishes. They're really hot for me, but I planted them for her because she wanted them. Something new for me, lemon cukes. I'm planting, got one there on this side and then one on the other side to go up this trellis. So for cucumbers, I have Armenian long, suyo long, and lemon cukes. This whole bed here, the inside part is all peppers. Here I have Habanada Pepper, which are like your habaneros, but they're not supposed to be hot, and a leftover lettuce seed from last year. I do believe that's a little gem, but I'm not 100% sure. Either that or it's a butter crunch. Then I have banana peppers, and then all of these over here are California Wonders. I got them in there looking really good. All of this, everything here I started from seed. I didn't buy any live plants. That's a first for me, so I'm pretty excited. One of my peonies, that one, this is its 3rd year maybe. This one I relocated from the yard up at the house. It was in the shade and it didn't like it, and it's just gotten huge. Okay, butterfly bush. Hi, puppy dog. Okay, so I've never grown tomatoes before. Funny story, I actually hate tomatoes. Can't even stand the smell of plants. I don't eat them raw. My son cannot because he's allergic to them, and my husband does. Well, my husband pretty much doesn't like any vegetables, but I want a can. I use a lot of spaghetti sauce, a lot of tomato sauce, and a lot of diced tomatoes. So my goal is I want to can them this year. So I've got this setup that we built. I've got 5 white tomasol, which were free seed packet from Baker Creek. If you order so many, they send you a free packet, and sometimes it's cool stuff and sometimes it's stuff you've already had, but planted them. They're like a white blush colored, and they're supposed to be good for eating, mild. And then I have Bonnie Best, which are for the diced tomatoes and like a salsa kind of thing. And then this whole row out here, 28 of them, is all Martina's Romas. So for sauce, and spaghetti sauce and that kind of thing. Now, what's funny is, here's this Roma tomato, right? Looks like your regular tomato plant. Then there's this one. It smells like a tomato plant. It kind of feels like it, but the leaves are not anything like it. So, I don't know. I don't really know what it is. I stuck it over here in case it's something weird. If you guys know anything about the tomatoes, maybe it's I don't know, some kind of remnant or mutated. I don't know what it is, but we'll see when it gets bigger. Maybe it was a seed that was thrown in a package on accident that wasn't supposed to be in there. Okay, so I have out here, I've got cardboard and then the weed barrier over it to try to smother out the weeds because this is all grass. So I've got butter stick squash out here, which would be your yellow squash. I've even got some growing on it already. And then this is green tiger zucchini, which there's one on here that you can see. If I can get to zoom, there we go. Then this down here is called zucchini rampicante. And it's almost like it's a squash, but it's almost like a gourd. And it will vine up I'm trying to get this to come out and help it tie its little runners up here. But this will go up and over this trellis here. And there's 4 of those, and so then they'll go up and over. They're a longer curled one. And of course I've got broccoli, or I'm sorry, Brussels sprouts. And it's funny because I thought this was a Brussels sprout, and it turns out it's actually a Yodfa kale. I lost track of what my plants were, I guess. Had so many growing. But they're looking pretty good. This one I didn't do the cardboard under, and the grass is growing through the weed fabric. It wasn't as strong. Lesson learned. I should have put the cardboard and stuff down earlier, but I didn't get to it. My alum, giant alums, are getting ready to open. Oh, look, this one's starting to get some color. It's so weird because that one's all curly. It was laying down, and then all of a sudden it stood up. It's pretty funny. Here I've got Butter Crunch and Little Gem lettuce, climbing rose. These are black Nebula carrots. They're coming in pretty well. And another climbing rose. I need to trim it. And then over here I've got early white Vienna kohlrabi. I've got a little bit left in the greenhouse. I've pretty much gotten rid of. I sent a bunch of plants to my friend at work. She's gonna plant, and then some to another gal. But I've got, here's my coral bells I was talking about. I've got straight 8 cucumbers that I'm growing for my neighbor. And then I have one called wax melon. It looks almost like a watermelon. It's huge. It's a type of a gourd I've never had. I thought I'd try it. And then I just put in some crimson sweet watermelon and sweet passion cantaloupe. And I'm going to grow them out in the grass by the other squash by the tubs. And then some herbs and different things. So until next time, happy gardening.